Soon enough, The Who had a reputation to uphold. At the urging of manager Kit Lambert, Townsend leaned into this and started to destroy more guitars. Drummer Keith Moon joined in on the action, taking apart his drum set on stage, and in 1967, famously blowing one of his kits up with TNT after a performance on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. The Who's instrumental destruction was a perfect representation of what rock and roll was all about. It represented the joy and rage of a new generation, coming of age and fighting against the stodgy ways of their parents. The act of destroying the instrument became a metaphor for the destruction of old cultural norms and institutions. This reality was made clear in 1966, when a collection of artists held the Destruction in Art Symposium in London. Led by the experimental artist Gustav Metzger, that symposium was an exploration of the power of destruction in art. Metzger believed that pretty and beautiful art only served to further the purposes of the elite in society, painting a false picture of an ugly world. He advocated for destruction as an anti-consumerist protest, a radical statement against the engines of destruction that were ripping the planet apart all the time. While Townsend himself admitted that Metzger's message went over his younger head, it resonates with so much of what was happening in the rock counterculture of the moment. That's probably why the destruction spread beyond The Who. In 1966, shortly after the Destruction in Art Symposium, director Michelangelo Antonioni had Jeff Beck of the Yardbirds destroy a guitar in the film Blow Up. That scene was directly inspired by Townsend, though Beck was a little reticent to do it at first. A year later, Townsend would inspire further guitar destruction at the Monterey Pop Festival. Monterey Pop was the coming out moment for the hippie counterculture, a precursor to Woodstock and one of the first modern music festivals. On the Sunday evening of the festival, much of America got to meet The Who for the first time. They were greeted with a spectacle of raw passion and energy that culminated in a climactic take on My Generation. The Who played the song at breakneck pace and finished it off by annihilating their instruments on stage. Just a few hours later, the Jimi Hendrix Experience took the stage for their own major American debut. Hendrix and the Experience had been in friendly competition with The Who for some time, and Hendrix wasn't about to be upstaged. After tearing through his own wicked set, Hendrix brought out all the stops for his finale. He laid his guitar down on the stage and doused it in lighter fluid before striking a match. The image of Hendrix kneeling over his burning guitar, coaxing the flames higher and higher, has been seared into the brains of rock fans ever since. That ritualistic sacrifice of the guitar was more than just a response to Townsend's wanton destruction. It was an evolution. Where Townsend's smashing feels raw and real, Hendrix's take on the practice, like Hendrix himself, has an air of mysticism. It feels like some ancient pagan rite, a piece of witchcraft calling forth powers from beyond the veil. It was the symbolic overture to a new age. The summer of love was in full swing, and music was ready to change the world. That moment of optimism lasted a few short years, but the guitar smash had no trouble translating to the bigger, louder sounds of the 70s. In 1974, at the California Jam Festival, an angry Ritchie Blackmore destroyed his guitar on stage for nearly 10 minutes, getting out frustrations that he had at the festival's organizers. That freakout saw Blackmore tossing several guitars around, smashing them into amplifiers, stepping on them, and even throwing broken guitars into the crowd. It was a whole new level of destruction, one fitting for the grandiose, indulgent era of 70s rock.